Welcome to the second Event Rider Masters simulated competition of 2020. It should be leg 2 at Chatsworth this weekend. Unfortunately, not to be, but we have the next best thing in store for you, because across this weekend, we have an EcoRatings Eventing Manager game playing out across this simulated competition, powered by SAP technology. We hope that you'll be playing along every step of the way. And I am joined by two of the best in the business. I'm going to start by saying a very good evening to you, John Kyle, looking very dapper.
Oh, thank you very much, Nicole. But, one tries. It's Chatsworth and all.
Even if you're in lockdown, got to make an effort. Really looking forward to this tonight. And we've got a pretty impressive field lining up to tackle the simulated Chatsworth Hills.
Yeah, it's one of the great things about simulated eventing, where you can just pick them, and you can pick the best of the best. You don't have to worry about if they're fit, if they're ready, if that was part of their plan. They don't have to travel. You just put them all in the same place. So yeah, I think we've lots of former winners. We've put a bit of a mix between some of the speed horses, some of the best. We've actually a brilliant show jumping field and a pretty good dressage field as well. So yeah, it's one of the beauties of simulated eventing, Nicole.
Well, this show is all about the dressage. So we're doing things a little bit differently this time for you. What we are doing is this show is all about the dressage. So it's going to be short and snappy, get you those dressage results. Then the Eventing Manager market is going to open back up before tomorrow evening, live at 7:30. We will bring you the jumping phases and the final results. So we hope you'll join us tomorrow evening. But for now, talk to us about simulated competition. What is it? Obviously, we can't be eventing at the moment, but the computer has been pretty busy.
Yeah, so look, we designed Eventing Manager originally absolutely with live competition in mind. We've had to really pivot and change and react to the situation that we're in. So we began to look at, okay, what technology do we have available to us that could help and do something with the eventing community in this period where we're not at competitions. What we do normally, Nicole, for the prediction center, when we're talking about, oh, that person's the favorite, that person's come from, they hadn't a great chance, but they went on to win. What we do is we take all of those variables around the competition in advance of a competition. So we would look at horse experience, how many times the horse has been here, rider experience, what they're kind of trending in each phase. And then we get deeper again. We look at, okay, well, yeah, they went inside the time at that competition, but we know that some competitions are easier to make the time than others. So how many other people made the time in that competition? So it's a huge amount. It actually goes into hundreds of thousands of different variables. And we know that anything can happen once when we run things. So what we do normally for a prediction center is we would run it 100,000 times or more. And we say, okay, well, if this situation, these 40 people came together, these 30 people came together, with everything we know about these 30 people, with everything we know about the competition, we put them all together into a pot and we pushed it through 100,000 times. This is how it would play out. Now, That's how the prediction center works. When we go to simulated eventing, we just run it once. So it still contains a degree of randomness. It tends to be within the range of that person's scoring power. So in dressage, for example, if you're normally scoring a 24, it's pretty unlikely that you're going to score a 36. However, if you're normally scoring a 24, we all know that means some days you can do a 21 or a 22, but it also means some days you can do a 27, 28. In the cross country, it means that, and we'll come to that tomorrow night, but in the cross country, it means that even horses like Classic Moe, who I know is in this field, yes, they won badminton. The event before that, they had a 20 penalties at Blenheim. And that's really highly unusual. If I did it in a simulated competition, everyone would say, Classic Moe, 20 penalties, not
never going to happen. Yeah.
But it happens. So everything is within the range. A 20 penalties, even a rider fall is within the range of everybody. A pole down, 2 poles down, within the range of everybody. And for tonight, Nicole, the dressage, it tends to be within the range. But that range, even in real competition, is usually about 4 or 5 marks, even more for certain horses.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is one of the joys of simulated competition. We have to remember it is a computer. A computer doesn't have feelings. A computer doesn't care if the ground could be good or bad or the judges are being nice, whatever. So we will take that into consideration throughout all of the competition. We want you guys to get involved at home, though. Download the Eventing Manager app. John, is your team locked and ready to go?
It really is. I'm quietly confident this week. But, we've got a lot of people playing along already. Even if you have watch this program because it's going to be going out live, and then also you'll be able to watch it during the transfer window. If you didn't choose a team before dressage, you can still go on and choose a new team from scratch during the transfer window, but some of the values will have changed based on dressage performance. But download the app. It's available for Android and iOS. Select your team. You've only got $10 million to play with, and there's a lot of competitors in this team or in this field worth over $4 million or EM dollars. And once your team is locked in, it's not over, because you could set up a family league. Of course, you're in competition with the thousands of other players, but you can set up your own small personal leagues as well. And there's been so much app development done. The scores are going to be in there. The leagues are going to be in there. It's a great way to follow along our broadcasts here. And when we get back to new eventing, it's going to be a great way to play along with that as well.
It absolutely is. Those, go on.
You're probably about to say it as well, but if you could, those guys, they really, really run on reviews. The algorithms in those app stores run amazingly strongly on reviews. If you had a couple of moments, if you are enjoying the app, go in and review it. It really is appreciated, and it really does help.
It does make a difference. It really does. I was just going to say, those private leagues between family, friends, they get very competitive. I know in the Sam Watson household last time, there was very nearly a big family family bragging rights were on offer. So get your friends involved, get your family involved, persuade everybody to get involved, because it is going to be a lot of fun this weekend. I'm pretty confident with my team. I've picked Sarah Ennis. She's the most expensive rider in the field, but she has Chatsworth form. So let's take a look at the riders lining up in this second ERM Sim of 2020, because we have some amazing names in the field. Let's go in dressage running order. So this is based on combination 6 run average, and we see the names coming straight in. Ludwig Svennestal, Ballon will be getting us underway. They've had a podium finish in Event Rider Masters before. And winners last year, Guireg Lecon's Esprit de la Loge, others to keep an eye on. But a little bit further on down the order, and John, Tom McEwen, he's going to be looking to put in a good score for your team.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Tom with Figaro, a horse that's gone very well for him in the past. Of course, we've got, friend of the show, Sam Watson and Imperial Sky in there. We've got Janelle Price and Classic Moe, who Derm was mentioning. We've got Felix Vogue, Swiss Olympian with Calero, and Tim Price and Xavier Fair. I mean, this is a fantastic field already.
And actually, a few of those horses are really standing out for me for speed on the cross country, and that is so important at Chatsworth. A little bit further down, Astier Nicolas, Alert Amalib, or a horse that is a former 7-year-old young horse world champion. And then Chris Burton, Lawtown Chloe on the podium in Wiesbaden last year. Chris, a double Event Rider Masters Series champion. The final 6, though, John, we are going to commentate on live, and they are the 6 with the best 6 run average in the field.
Yeah, the boffins behind the scenes, they're going to give us the simulation for those judging blocks of 6, and then we get to these final 6, and they'll give us those scores one at a time. So we're back into the realms of simulating our own idea of what might be going on for recent Burley winner Pippa Funnel, for Liz Halliday Sharp, for Chatsworth winner Sarah Ennis, for Gwendolyn Fair, one of the top riders in France. We've seen her in a lot of ERM riders with her very loyal Romantic Love. World champion Ros Cantor, and a combination that have won Chatsworth together, been to the Olympics together, Gemma Tattersall and Quick Look. They go last.
And they could well be our dressage leaders. We're going to have to watch these scores very, very carefully. But let's get started. So we're going to do 3 blocks of 8 scores coming in from our first 3 sessions of dressage, and then we will move on to the final 6 in live commentary, as John just said then. So let's get started. Block or session number 1. And there are some big names in here. Ludwig Svennestal was getting us underway first off with Ballon Mist. But there we go. Yasmin Ingham, Rihi DJ, 29.0. Yaz with her young rider national champion a couple of years ago, Rihi DJ. That is a big score for them. They actually scored 32.5 at Chatsworth 12 months ago. And Guireg Lecon's Esprit de la Loge, they were on the series podium last year. That horse really flew into stardom in 2019. 30.4, hasn't been to Chatsworth before. That'll be interesting. But the one that sticks out for me is a Power Solodoon, 30.8. They've made the time at Chatsworth before. They could do it again. How are those scores shaping up, though, from a numbers perspective, Dom?
I'm just looking at their average dressage after that session, 31.1. It's pretty normal. I mean, that tends to be, I mean, you're looking at the ERM ERM sessions, and this is across the full session, ERM dressage average is 31.2 at Chatsworth. So, I mean, I think you're right in terms of who you picked out. That 6RA is interesting. It shows you the range. Ludwig pretty much is identical to his. I have Soladoon and Elizabeth Power on my team. So, yeah, delighted with that. That's probably the biggest positive swing. And that comes in 1.2 million. Great value if you were on that. And again, young rider, Yaz Ingham, I think great start. Again, look at the value there. And they're 2-3 marks ahead of their 6RA. So, great start for Yaz as well.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the second session. Can anybody knock Yaz Ingham, Riki DJ off the top spot? Watch this space. Computer is calculating, Dan.
Here we go. This is the excitement for me. You're like, okay, push them out. Here we go. Okay, Felix Vog. Oh, nice. Classic Moa 28. That's a big score for them. Okay, what is standing out? Interesting. Okay, there's quite a few of them ahead of their 6RAs. Christoph Waller, 29.2. I mean, Felix Vog Calero, 1.2 million. That's great value for me and a great start, 27.2. Classic Moe, I would say people with Classic Moe and their team, Janelle Price, they're going to be putting Classic Moe in for speed. I couldn't argue with it. Polls would be a question mark. 29.6, Sam Watson will be disappointed. I would think, I mean, it's interesting saying he'd be disappointed with a sub-30 score, but his last two tests, Mill Street and Campfire with Imperial Sky, have both been 27s. Figaro Van Het Brooks off, again, I would say pretty fair result standard. Tim Price, Xavier Fair, I'm pretty positive he's going to be in a huge amount of teams because look at the price, 0.
Bargain.
Yeah.
I mean, under £1 million for a horse that has been third at badminton and is fast. He's a bargain.
Yeah, I mean he's ahead, so he scored worse off than his 6-run average. But I would say last time he was here, it's 2018, he was at 33. And I would say that price is probably building in some recent cross-country form. I think he has 20 penalties, albeit at 5-star at Burley, but he also had 60 penalties at Gackham. They're 2 of his last 3 runs. So I would think Xavier Fair has a couple of questions to answer, and I know that feels like a strange thing to say when we're talking about a 5-star winner, but that, I mean, you can't ignore that recent form either. So there is going to be a couple of question marks there, but I would say all fair. I don't think there's any major shocks there.
No, well, that number on the left-hand side is their placing. So Felix Vog Calero into the lead, Janelle Price into second with Classic Moe. Christoph is into fourth, which means that Yasmin Ingham, who we saw in the first session, is slotting into third at the moment. So 27.2 is the score to beat. Those 6-run averages of the field will be getting better. So we're expecting real movement at the top of the leaderboard with this third session, John.
Nicole, last thing. We were bang on. 6-run average. 6-run average for the last, the average for all those competitors, 30.3. The average that just came out, 30.3 So as we were saying, pretty much on. I need to be quiet.
Computer's behaving. John,
okay,
session 3.
Oh, here we go.
Go on, let's have a look. Well, Derm is going to be delighted.
Yes,
he's going to see the score as well. He sees Laura Collard and Mr. Bass there at the head of affairs as we go into the 6 live rounds. Alex Bragg and Zagreb, they're on my team, 28.6, just a little bit behind their 6-run average. The Wiesbaden winners a couple of seasons ago, Sarah Cohen and Treason, they are also a little bit behind their 6RA on 28.7, and they were a big price as well, 4.1 million, more expensive than Laura Collard, 4.4 million then for Piggy and Brookfield Innocent on 29.0. Badminton 2019 winner, Piggy there with her winner of the Blenheim 4-star long last year. We've got Olympic medalist Astia Nicolas on 29.9, same score as Frankie Reed-Warlow and Dolly Whisper, and double the price, 3.6 million versus 1.8. Oliver Townend and Ulysses, who we saw in our Sim Burnham Market part of the Event Rider Master Sim season as well, he gets a 32.1, again, just below his 6-run average on the simulation we see here. I'm really interested by this. I mean, Christoph Wahler and Felix Vog on the last screen as well. They were 2 who were given to me on the autofill, and I threw them away. And I'm just starting to go, oh God.
Maybe you shouldn't have done that. You can actually, if you can't decide or you don't want to pick your own team and you want the computer to do it for you, click autofill in Eventing Manager, which you can download in the App Store. It will reopen, the market will reopen after dressage. So get involved. If you haven't already, get involved, and you can even get the computer to do it for you. Okay, let's take a look at that leaderboard after those first 24 combinations have gone. And it is 27.0, Laura Collett, Mr. Bass, the ones to beat at the top. You've got some big names in there. Classic Moe, she'll be delighted. Janelle Price with 28.1 because she can be very, very quick on the cross country and you need that at Chatsworth. Sarah Cohen and Treason, another combination with Chatsworth form. Also ones I would say are delighted. Looking a little bit further down, John, they're still pretty tightly bunched. There's only a couple of penalties between the top 12.
I think what's really interesting is, we go back to, we mentioned Sam Watson and he sticks in the mind, where Derm said he's disappointed, but he's still sub 30. There are a huge amount of sub 30 scores in this field. And as Derm has said, looking at the statistics and the simple metrics that are right there in the app, we've got an excellent show jumping field. So we're going to see, maybe a few more clears than we'd normally expected at Chatsworth. Then what about cross country? Of our 6 to come, and you see them there, Pippa, Liz, Sarah, Gwendolyn, Roz, and Gemma, how many of them can actually beat a score of 27.0 from Laura Collett and Mr. Mass? We know how many on paper, but we've got to get this simulations done.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's go into those final 6 combinations to go. We are going to take them through you live. That's further down the leaderboard through to 24th, but fast up. Pippa Funnel, Billy Walk-On, owned by Nick and Barbara Walkinshaw, who've been huge supporters of Pippa for a long, long time. This is an 11-year-old, 6th at Blenheim last year. 27.4 is their 6-run average, which would put them well in contention. And Pippa, as always, producing an unbelievably polished test. This is looking very good. She was a bargain price of a little over $2 million. And can she challenge Laura Collett's lead? Billy Walk-On, Pippa Funnel, 26.3. She goes out in front. So that is the one to beat. Laura Collett goes down into second. Pippa Funnel, Billy Walk-On, the new leaders. 5 combinations left to go. So she will be top 6 at the very least going forward to the show jumping, which will be broadcast for you live tomorrow evening here on Facebook, 7:30. Tune in for that. Next up, it is none other than the sole American representative in the field, Liz Halliday-Sharp.
This is the horse that doesn't take much warming up. Am I right, Nicole? This is actually
get on and go.
Just get on. Okay, perfect. Fernhill by night. I mean, we've associated Liz with great dressage tests over the years, and I would say 27.4. Our leader is just gone below 27 now. I would not be surprised to see Liz and Blackie get right in very close to them. Should be having a score soon. I think this is a horse 26.6. Second, so just behind Pippa, but I would say all going to be about Chatsworth Hills for this pair. I think 26.6 is and a test of that caliber, John, as we said, not necessarily easy to do, but for someone of Liz's talent, for a horse of this experience, I would say fairly much expected that you're going to have them pretty close to the top, and that's where they are.
I think she'll be pretty pleased with that. Into second, Liz Halliday-Sharp. Now, this next combination, John, are in my team. They're the most expensive, but I'm banking on them this weekend.
I think you do make a very good choice there, Nicole. Sarah Ennis and Horseware Stella Rebound, they've won here before. They added just 6.8 time penalties that year. They had a run in 2019 at the Mill Street ERM where they finished 4th, and that was starting off a dressage penalty score of 25. So again, we talk about that range around the 6-run average, 27.3, the 6-run average. We saw a 25 at this very level of competition last year. And Sarah Ennis and Horseware Stella Rebound. Let's see what the computer is going to tell us here in Eventing Manager. So a little bit behind, 28.1, down into equal 5th as things currently stand. But it's a jumping horse. It's a fast horse.
I'd still be on them because... Sorry, go on, Nicole.
I was going to say they've been to Chatsworth 4 times. They've been first, second, 8th. They have jumped double clear. They've had the odd time penalty in the show jumping cross country. They have jumped double clear every time. So my money is still on Horseware.
Who do you want to be on? Who do you want to be on after that? You're still going to want to be on going out into the challenge that we have at Chatsworth. Such a unique challenge. Every year we laugh at how many times we say it, but those hills, the speed that's going to be required, we've a proven horse that has done it previously. I haven't got her on my team because she was too expensive for me, but I would still be all over Sarah.
Worth every penny for me, Sarah. Okay, next up, Gwendolyn for France, Romantic Love. They've been 5th in the Event Rider Masters here at Chatsworth before. They are former Poe winners as well. They were on a score.
She's having a shoe removed, I think. Yeah, there's something happening there.
You can make anything up in simulated competition. But she actually is somebody who can be very, very fast in the cross country. Romantic Love is a 5-star winner. They came back having had a bit of time off through injury to win Protoni last year. And John, I think this is going to be a pretty good test. 26.9, their 6-run average. What will be their score? It's going to come in and 24.7. She'll be delighted with that. This is a big, big test. Ooh la la, John. Into first. So Gwendolyn Fur, new leader for France. Romantic Love. Can they hold on to that top spot? 3 combinations left to go. Next up, we're going to see Ros Cantor, Zenshira. 2 combinations left to go.
This is interesting because I'm looking at that 26.6, and there's a few things that the computer's going to have to take into account here. One is, I think, the recent tests. Let me see. I think they've definitely got a couple of 24s on the record of late. I think, was it Poe 2018, Mill Street 2018? I think they're both 28s, and then they did have that gap until Poe, and I think that was closer to the 27 mark. So that 6RA is jumping around a little bit. We didn't have many runs in the 2019 season, just that one at the end of the season. So there's still a little bit of a comeback here. 26.6, I would say we should be close enough to that 6RA, even with the range that is going to be there. It could be as low as 24. It could be up around the 20. It's 27, fourth. Look, it's on the 6RA. It's like, I mean, you think, okay, early 2018, they did 2 24 tests, like early enough. And one early, one late, 2018, not much last year. And was it 27 something last year at Poe, 26.9. I think fair, 26.9 into fourth. We're getting tight. We're even tight in this top 5, Nicole.
It's unbelievably close, and we have just one combination left to go. So will Gwendolyn Fur be leading the dressage, or will it be Gemma Tattersall? France versus Great Britain. Gwen is on a score of 24.7. Gemma Tattersall and Quick Look, they can produce the goods in this first phase. Best 6-run average in the field.
Well, we've seen people, it's best 6-run average in the field, and we've seen people besting their 6-run average. But do they have the test that is going to take them in front of Gwendolyn Fur at this stage? That would be a decent enough achievement over that average. And 3.6 mil as well. 3.6 mil, even with that uphill climb there to overtake Gwendolyn Fur, looks like good value for a combination that have won here before. They've gone to the Olympics together. They won Bramham last year. They were second at Jardí last year. They're masters at this very level. They know this place. ERM Chatsworth is quite different to in ERM at a flatter venue like Wiesbaden or Jardí. So, I mean, where she ends up, and she came a little bit from behind to take her Chatsworth win before. So let's see how we get on against Gwendolyn Fur's score. She's in the lead by 0.1 of a penalty, 24.6 for Gemma Tattersall and Quick Look.
That is unbelievably tight. But Gemma Tattersall, it is going to be Great Britain leading the dressage after the first phase here in the second simulated Event Rider Masters competition of 2020. And we are going to hear from our dressage leader herself, Gemma Tattersall. Here she is. How was your test? You're leading at Chatsworth. A very quick turnaround out to the field.
Yeah, amazing. We were pretty clever, I think, to just do that just now. She is such a little star. She's so professional. I absolutely love riding her in the dressage. It's always such fun. It's always much less stressful than a lot of the other horses. Pebbles genuinely really enjoys it. Felt like we nailed those flying changes today as well. We've been practicing those a lot.
There was another 10 for the final halt.
Final halt, 10, Gemma. And I was surprised that you got a 10.
Those,
you looked, I must say, normally you look very determined going in. I thought today you looked very nervous. Were you nervous?
Oh, no. I was just concentrating. That's my concentrating thing.
Oh, sorry, yeah. And you have her in a rug already, I see, do you?
Yeah, look. She's chilling out.
Unbelievable work from Marcel there to get that turned around.
She is getting herself ready for the jumping phases. Do you have a game plan?
Oh, my game plan always is to, stay on my dressage score as much as I can and go as fast as I can cross country. We all know that Pebbles isn't always the fastest on 4 legs, but we'll be pushing, and we know she's really fit.
She's squealing.
Having a little conversation with the next door neighbour. But yeah, she's really fit. She's been practicing up and down the hills at Tattleton. So yeah.
There we go. Well, fast and clear. Gemma Tattersall trying to stay on her dressage score. Gemma, you are our overnight leader. Congratulations. We hope that you'll be adding your first simulated win to your roster.
Me too. Thanks.
Good luck for the rest of the competition. Gemma, thank you for joining us. Go and get yourself ready for tomorrow's jumping phases. Well, the dressage is done now. So we've had 30 of the best combinations here, ERM Sim Leg 2 at the Dodson and Horrell Chatsworth International Horse Trials. We hope you've been playing along on Eventing Manager. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. This is how things stand, and it is very close. We just heard from her there. Gemma Tattersall by 0.1 with Quick Look, ahead of Gwendolyn Fur, Romantic Love for France. Who stands out for you in that top 10, John?
Well, there's a couple. I mean, great to see, looking forward to seeing Ros Cantor riding any of her horses around cross country here. I'm really interested to see how Liz Halliday-Sharp takes on the cross country in the computer's mind with Blackie. I mean, Liz is no stranger really to Chatsworth, having been based here in the UK for such a long time. Laura Collett and Mr. Bass, they look very threatening there. Calero's not a horse with Felix Vogt that we see too often, so it'd be interesting to see what they can do off a strong start of 27.2. And then you've got, three great horses there, three great combinations: Classic Moe, Horseware Stellar Rebound, and Zagreb rounding out our top 10, all sub 29 penalties.
They're the ones for me, John. You look at your final three there, like joint 8 and 10th. Zagreb has added 2 time penalties in his last, his last 6 runs, and then he had that fall at Chatsworth here last year, and before that he'd had 2 events inside the time as well. So it's, aside from a blip at Chatsworth can happen again. Imagine it happened in simulated competition. You'd say I was mad, but he had 1 blip. Other than that, he's added 2 seconds in 8 runs. So I would say huge. I mean, in terms of transfers now, which is where people have to turn to, I would say look at Classic Moe, look at Horseware Stellar Rebound, look at Zagreb, look at Mr. Bass, even 27. I think when they won this, when it was actually with London 52, but Laura was on a 26.9. I think when they started with Mr. Bass, I would say the first 4 there are going to have to hold on, or maybe the first 5 are going to have to hold on behind the second 5 there. It's all going to change, and even if it doesn't change as much in the show jumping, the second 5 there, they're the speed ones for me.
But but you talk about change and people rising. I mean, for me, Gemma Tattersall and Pippa Funnell put the brakes on anyone rising. They are right there.
I think the one thing, though, Chatsworth is renowned for being very, very tough on the time on the cross country. So let's see how the computer is going to throw those time penalties out. And it's a jumping test as well. Ian Stark always produces a good track. Let's go down to the second. This is 11th through to 20th. And you've still got all of the big names. Sarah Cohen's in there, Piggy French, Bill Levitt, Laspen Diamond Lift. Good to see him. They're all still sub 30 as well. Sam Watson, Imperial Sky, just sneaking into the top 20 as well. You've got 4 of them in equal 16th on 29.3. The final part of the leaderboard, John, I don't think there can be anybody too disappointed with their score here.
No, at least of all me, because I had all my team members on the first 2 screens. Tommy McKeown was my discard score at the moment, and he's still there looking really good. So I'm pleased with that. No, not at all. Izzy Taylor and Wills Oakton, really, really strong cross-country riders there. Again, Wills and Cooley Ramiro. Wills very, very familiar with Ian Stark's, designing over many years, and he'll be one to go out and take this on. Tim Price and Xavier Fair there, mid-market at the moment on what was a good score. And I don't think that the market's necessarily going to change his value a huge amount. But I would, if I was on Tim Price, I'd stay on Tim Price.
Same with Saladoon, John. And I would say the same with Saladoon as well. Yeah, I mean, we saw it on the second screen there, but look at Asprey de la Loge with Gireg, look at Xavier Fair, look at Saladoon. Like, what's striking me about this is how set up it is for what the type of competition we want for Sunday night, because you've got the speed horses. I always think when you go to the last page and you're like, oh, I'm on the last page of dressage, but actually at Chatsworth, when you're still within less than 10 time penalties.
It's 7.5 penalties between Ludwig and Gemma.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting on any kind of horse that can jump or that has speed. You're delighted with 7.5 penalties behind the leader. Actually, Nicole, just looking at it, because we'll say, okay, how does the sim work? Has the sim worked? I'm just looking at it here. The average dressage score for the whole field is 29.2, and the average 6 Ora for the whole field is 29.7. So we have seen
Pretty
some little
close.
bits of variance, a couple of people up, a couple of people down, but overall I would say a computer being reasonably fair. That's a question we would normally ask of our judges. That's a calculation that we would often run on our judges. We'd say, what's the 6RA of the whole field, and are the judges scoring up or down today? You know, are we getting any kind of indication as to whether it's a good day or a bad day? Today I would say it's pretty much level. 29.2 is the average, 29.7 is the 6RA average.
On track. So dressage has played out. That is how things stand, and the eventing manager market is now open. So if you haven't been playing along, now is your chance to do so. Go and download eventing manager from your app store, from the Google Play Store as well. It is free to download and you can play along, enter your team. If you've already picked your team, then the transfer window is now open as well. You can go and make any last minute substitutions. Will you make a cheeky change? I'm going to stay with my team. I've got the faith. John, Dan, thank you both very, very much. It has been an absolute joy to look at the dressage. We will be back tomorrow evening, all three of us, at 7:30 to bring you the live show jumping cross country and, of course, the final results. There is lots of goodies on offer for getting involved, so make sure you play along. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.